Greetings everyone, sluzzle699 here, accompanied by my one-trick teammate, the Rotted Zombie. How you doing, friend?
I'm well, man. Thank you for having me.
So, we're casting my cousin, sluzzle699. He's a little bit out of his comfort zone, playing some Mecha'thun Warlock. He's actually rank 69 Legend right now, so he doesn't want to risk his rank. And so he's playing in casual. So he's playing Hydro's Mecha'thun Warlock list. What do you think about this list, Rotted?
Well, I think that Sluzzle could really do a good job with this. He's a bit of an up-and-comer and loves degenerate decks. I think this is right up his alley.
So, for those of you who aren't familiar with how Mecha'thun Warlock works, basically, this specific version, you want to draw as fast as possible, so it's a very heavy draw deck, and your goal is to get your Mecha'thun, your Blood Bloom, your Cataclysm, but then you need to discount that with your Emperor, and then once your deck's empty, you got an OTK.
Yeah, this guy's going to be ready. He's ready. Look at those glasses. He's just ready.
Oh my goodness. It looks like he's queued into a Galakron warrior. Yeah, there's the
absolutely.
Yeah. So I noticed that there is no demons in this list. Is that normal?
That is atypical from what people come to expect for Mecha'thun. They're used to a Warlock with a heavy demon package, Void Callers, Void Lords, sometimes Mal'Ganis, but more and more these days, people are looking to a cycle-heavy list to draw the combo as quickly as possible, and demons are just too slow for that.
And when I look at this list, okay, there are two cards. When I look at this list, two cards I see missing here. I don't see the Quest, and I don't see Solarium. And I find that kind of interesting.
Solarium is an interesting exclusion. It's a bit of a tech choice. Against a greedier meta, you can probably afford to cut it. Sometimes you want it if it's a more aggressive meta. The Quest is a good card. It's a good package with plot twists and Aranasi Broodmothers. But this list is also viable, and that's kind of the beauty of Mecha'thun. There's one ending, sure, but a lot of interesting ways that you can potentially get there.
Yeah. There's one card I really find interesting in this list. It's the Valdris Felgorge. Sluzzle didn't have this card in his collection. I actually had to buy him some packs so he could get the dust. So I don't think he's ever actually played the card, but I feel like being able to draw 4 and get that extra hand size, it's almost like a substitute for Solarium in a way.
It's perfectly
sure if that's
OP.
the right way to think.
Oh, it's exactly what Sluzzle wants here. It's getting a body on board, drawing 4 cards, and perhaps more importantly, expanding your hand size to a game-breaking 12. Have you ever had 12 cards in your hand? I mean, come on.
I haven't personally myself, but I'm interested to see if it happens in this game.
Sluzzle might find his way there.
Yeah, it looks like it, and it looks like he's been pointing at his own deck a lot, checking. Yeah, he just did it then. He's checking his hand size a lot, and I think that's important for players, whether you're an inexperienced or an experienced player. It's very easy to accidentally mill yourself.
Yep.
Especially with
I always am doing it, and I play this deck all the time.
Yeah, like with the Runic Eggs and the Loot Hoarders and the Blood Mage Thanos, you gotta be so careful. I like that. I like the Spirit of the Rhino tech by his opponent here. That's pretty spicy.
Well, the opponent's also laid out a Scion of Ruin that's given him some trouble, so he's going to have to deal with that. That defiles should clean it up quite nicely.
Yeah, it looks like Sluzzle found the clear there.
He found the back, yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of this deck, too. It plays like a control deck, so Sluzzle can just dump on people all day long, and it looks like he's really enjoying himself doing it, too. Yeah. He's just very satisfied with himself, just clearing board.
I also really like how these decks run Reno Jackson and Zephyrus the Great. I find that kind of funny, just because even though the deck runs duplicates, oh my goodness.
Ooh, spicy.
Look at
the opponent is challenging Sluzzle to bring it on. I think he might bring it on. I think
he gives a little thank you for that, bring it on.
Yeah. But to your point, Reno's active right here.
Yeah, and there's
it's turn 7.
Yeah, it's turn 7. Reno's active. Like, these Warlock decks can just draw so fast that you can just put in Zephyrus, put in Reno. One thing I've always thought about, because I don't play this deck a lot myself, why is there no Kazakus in these lists?
Kazakus, I think, is kind of just too slow for a Turbo Mecha'thun list. In this case, you have 2 cards in Reno and Zephyrus that are serving very specific purposes. Reno is a bailout against aggro and a stabilization against mid-range decks. Zephyrus is just a Swiss Army knife of any Hearthstone deck. Kazakus is so off tempo compared to those, it's probably just not good value compared to other cards. Ooh, yeah, baby.
It's interesting you say that about Kazakus, because like I've been, as you know, I've been jamming a lot of Quest Reno Mage these days.
Yes.
And I am finding that most of the time when I slam down Kazakus, I pick the 1 mana spell because I just want to draw a card. I very rarely ever pick the 5 and the 10 from Kazakus when I play Quest Reno Mage.
Well, in Quest Reno Mage and in other decks that would run Kazakus, there aren't as many good card draw options as you'll see here in this Warlock package that Sluzzle's running. And so it's interesting and viable, but I think ultimately too slow for the
here comes a Valdris.
Here it comes.
Oh my goodness. So his hand size is at 10.
Ooh,
he probably should have tapped first, but you know, give the guy a break. You know, he's learning.
Sluzzle's just firing on all cylinders.
Okay, so he's got everything now. So he wins the video game in 2 turns. He just slams down that Emperor. I mean, is there any way his opponent wins besides like having a Dirty Rat or a Loethid for some bizarre reason?
Given that the opponent's lacking pressure, it looks pretty bad for them.
So he
slammed the Emperor here.
Can we talk about how this is turn 9, by the way? It is turn 9, and Sluzzle has drawn through his entire...
Cheeky BM.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh,
A little preemptive, well played.
Well, that's the way Sluzzle plays. Sluzzle ain't gonna say no. He's not gonna apologize for something like that.
No.
Well, and that's the thing about...
What if his opponent gets a Dirty Rat off this?
Ooh, it's possible.
Oh, no. Oh, thank goodness.
Armor up. We're in the clear here.
I'm pretty sure if there was a Dirty Rat there, headphones would have been thrown across the room. I don't know if you've seen any of Sluzzle's previous games.
Yeah.
Oh, he missed the thing. Oh, there it is. Little misclick on the thank you, but he got it.
Well, that's what I find. One of the greatest skills you need to have as a Mecha'thun Warlock player, and Sluzzle will work on this, is being able to quickly DM via emotes. It's a really acquired skill, but once you get the handle on a degenerate deck like this, you get really good at it.
Yeah. Oh, EK Designer has come online. I just saw that on the bottom left. Okay, it looks like he's queuing up again. Ooh, he's got a Hunter. That's exciting.
Okay. A Hunter seems fairly good if we can dunk on them. I like this.
Fun fact, Sluzzle can't talk because he lost his voice back in '93. But we were having some text messages, and Sluzzle thinks Hunter is a complete joke, and he actually has 0 wins with the class because he refuses to play it.
Well, I mean, that stands to reason. The class doesn't have anyone achieving high results with it.
Yeah, I mean, and to quote Sluzzle, he told me in text messages, anyone who has any success with Hunter was a fluke, and they probably just got lucky.
I mean, all you need to do is stick Death Stalker, Rexar, and 29 other cards. You got yourself a Hunter build.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, I'm interested to see what Sluzzle's opponent is playing. There is a new hot Hunter deck on the Wild Street. It's an aggressive kind of beast face hunter deck. It's running, I forget the name of the card. It's the new twin spell that Hunter got from the Galakron's Awakening expansion.
Fresh Scent.
That is the card. Yeah. Yes. So I don't know if his opponent's playing that deck, but it's definitely something new. Nope. Apparently his opponent is playing
I don't know if
hand buff Hunter. That's a 3/3 death rattle. Give a random minion in your hand +2/+2. Looks like Sluzzle's just gonna go to Drawtown here. Is that trade right? I think the trade's correct.
Oh, I mean, who cares? He doesn't need to worry about that minion. He's just gonna fire on all cylinders here. Draw cards, blow shit up. It's Sluzzle.
Yeah.
Ooh. Devil Soul Egg and eggs in general actually can be quite tricky for the Mecha'thun player because you're relying often on Plague of Flames and Dark Skies to clear boards, and an egg leaves a threat behind.
There's the Cataclysm. There's one of the 3-piece combo. Okay.
He's got a ton of removal, so all he has to do is make sure his life doesn't get too low.
Going to Removal Town. One thing I always forget to ask Sluzzle, I never know what music he listens to when he plays games, but it seems like he's always rocking out to something good. One channel that I do know the Sluzzle loves is the Anjuna Beats 24/7 channel. It's something I also play on my stream. I have a sneaking suspicion he might be listening to that.
He's always jamming out.
That's a necromechanic.
If you're sure.
You got some Death Rattle synergy coming up. All right.
Okay, looks, you know.
This
is decent. Sluzzle's a little low. They're being like 16. I mean, I don't play Warlock too much myself, but when I get below 15, I get a little scared.
Well, with a deck like this, you're always going to be riding. But with cards like Mistress of Mixture and then you can really gain life quickly.
That's a Forlorn Stalker. This is actually kind of scary.
Well, I think the opponent recognizes what Sluzzle's trying to do, and they're just going to jam face and force the issue.
I think there's an easy to file clear here. So you get the extra one. Oh, Sluzzle's thinking. Oh, he's trying to jumpstart his brain. I don't
He's
think
really working on it.
This might be the longest turn Sluzzle has ever taken in a game of Hearthstone. I think we're clocking in like 15 seconds now. This is a new record.
Yeah. He's pointing at face.
Oh,
here it comes.
Oh. Is he?
Pretty good. Almost.
I think. Is he, he figured it out. No. Oh. Uh-oh.
You can clean that up.
You can do it. There you go. He figured it out.
Is Sluzzle not a natural control player?
So Sluzzle doesn't typically play games past turn 5. His main deck of choice is Mech Paladin these days. And
that's a fairly strong deck.
Yeah, those games are usually done pretty quickly.
Hey, going face is a acquired talent, friend.
I think he needs to get rid of that Corpse Widow. That's kind of a
that's a big yikes of a
potentially
card.
terrifying card. Does he ever use the Plague of Flames here?
I think that's a fairly safe choice, yes. It's a decent body. He's got some healing on the board with the Mistress.
Does he trade? Is he missing face?
There we go.
Did he figure it out? Okay,
And that will work.
He figured it out. Okay.
Not the cleanest, but it works.
Okay.
He's like, yeah, I feel good about that.
I think is he gonna tap? He's not gonna tap. What do we think about
Basically
that?
BM if you're a Warlock not tapping.
Yeah, should he have tapped then? What do you think?
If you're not under immediate threat, tapping is always a very reasonable choice because you need to draw down. Now, looking at the size of his hand, however, he wants to play Valdris here.
It seems like it.
And he could have still done that with one more card given in the 8 mana and the target dummy in hand, but that's fine. He's going to Valdris anyway.
Yeah. Cards are good. Ooh. Okay.
Oh, baby.
He's just lacking the Emperor now.
Mm-hmm. Also, interesting to note, Reno is not online because he still has a second Loot Hoarder in his deck.
That is very, very true.
And that's always the lamentation of a mecha. Where final look at in the.
So I would be concerned about our opponent somehow generating a whole pile of 7/7s. There are no, Sluzzle is out of Plague of Flames. Zeph is not active. This is putting Sluzzle in a rough little spot.
A little dangerous, but he has 4 health in the Mistress. He has a heal bot there, and he could probably find a cheeky Defile or Plague here if he really wants to. I mean, this is an easy Plague, frankly, too.
Not sure what he's doing here.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't have always.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh no, he did. Sorry, I thought he used the second.
Every
I
day
thought
of
he
the
used the second plague. I didn't see this. I thought he used the second plague. Oh my goodness. Well,
Oh yeah. That's
thank you so much, Rotted. You can find all of the Rotted Zombies socials in the description below. And